Hey, what's going on, YouTube? By the way, I picked up a new hobby. Want to know if you guys comment below. Just comment below. Doing puzzles. Isn't that pretty cool? It's a cute one. I like dogs. So yeah. Anyway, random, I know, but this is a random video. We're gonna talk some football, and the Bengals play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Sunday, and we're 9-4 going in this game. 9-4, and I've been looking at the Bengals season. We got 4 losses, right, up to this point. And out of them 4 losses, there's really only one that we really lost badly. But the other 3 games, guess what? It's because we shot ourselves in the foot. I mean, let's be honest about it. We open up the season. Pittsburgh, who is downright terrible and has nobody, right now anyway. Not saying Kenny Pickett couldn't be a viable option in the going forward. We all know Mitch Trubisky ain't the answer. And Joe Burrow plays the worst game of his freaking career, and we still almost win that game. We go into overtime and lose. But still, winnable game. We should have won that game. That should have been 1-0. Then we go to Dallas with a backup quarterback, Cooper Rush. We should have won that game. Reason we didn't win that game is because Joe Burrow was still in his funk or whatever, and we had some injuries. So that's 0-2. And don't you guys remember me making a video back in September where I said the Bengals were in better shape than they ever had been? And basically, I want to call some of the fair weather fans out at this point, because guess what? Everybody I remember vividly was counting the Bengals out, saying we were done. Saying that, oh no, the Bengals were a fluke and yada, yada, yada. And listen, I don't think the Bengals are going back to the Super Bowl this year. I really don't. And I know that's kind of harsh for me to say, but let's be honest about it. There's a lot of talent right now in the NFL. And if we wanted to get back to the Super Bowl, we'd have to go through Kansas City or Buffalo for sure, again. And we play Buffalo in a couple of weeks. I can't wait for that game because that'll be the true ultimate test. Not to say beating Kansas City. I mean, that's a test in itself. But if we beat Buffalo, that's going to be unbelievable. And Buffalo has been exposed a little bit. They have a weakness, believe it or not. So I know if the Jets can beat them, the Bengals can beat them. So anyway, nothing against the Jets, but I'm just saying they have a weakness. So anyway. So yeah, then we bounce back 2-2. We lose to the Ravens, and you know what? I can halfway kind of eat that loss because, you know, it was just our own screw up. But once again, another game where it was their own screw up. They fumbled, they lost the game. Another game they should have won. They should have beat the Ravens. Then Halloween night comes around. After they win 2 more in a row, they're 4-3. The Halloween night comes around. They get absolutely humiliated by their arch rival Cleveland, and for whatever reason, Cleveland has been a monkey on Joe Burrow's back up till recently last week. And I'll be the first to admit, Joe Burrow played like absolute shit at the beginning of that game. I mean, he played horrible. First quarter and a half was absolutely terrible. I mean, he made me nervous. He started for like 4 for 13, 4 for 14. He played terrible. He played atrocious to start. So I'm not giving him a free pass on that. He's not going to be able to do that against, any team, like Kansas City or Buffalo or any team like that and get away with it. There's no way. So we need to lock down on that. But for whatever reason, Cleveland has been a monkey on Joe Burrow's back for whatever reason. But finally, he got over that hump, got the monkey off his back. So bravo to him on that. But you know what? I'm almost glad they did lose to Cleveland like that, because you know what I think happened? I think that lit a firecracker under their ass. There's sometimes where a loss is not always a bad thing. Sometimes a loss will ignite a team, put a spark in them, put a kick in their ass, and that's exactly what I think it did to Cincinnati. It lit a firecracker under their ass, because ever since then, they have been doing really well. Knock on wood. Don't want to speak too soon, but, it seems like that was the loss that finally lit a firecracker under their ass, because at one point they were 2-3, believe it or not. And 4-4. Wasn't that long ago they were just 4-4. Now they're 9-4. They're doing excellent. This goes back to my point. I don't know how the season's going to finish out, but I just want to say, back to what I said, we're in better shape than we ever have been. Like I said, Joe Burrow plays one of the worst games of his life and still almost beats Pittsburgh. And for whatever happened to Dallas, just plays terrible. And the Ravens game, they fumbled away, which was clearly a winnable game. The Cleveland loss, okay, I'll eat that. We played like shit. But outside of that, I mean, realistically, Cincinnati should be 12-1 right now, right up there with Philadelphia, 11-2 at worst, if we really want to get down to the nitty-gritty. But they're 9-4 because of their own mistakes. But they're doing something about it. They're getting better. Did I not say the Bengals, week in and week out, they'll just keep getting better? That's what's happening with Joe Burrow. He's learning as he's going, and this team is learning as it's going. It's going to take a little time, and this may not be the year either. But you know what? They're going to get better as they keep going on. Do you have any idea, fellow Bengals fans, the true Bengals fans, not the fair weather fans that just came around when Joe Cool just came around, not them fans, the fans that were around in the 90s and the early 2000s where we were the worst we were the laughing stock of the league. I mean, we were terrible. We were where the Houston Texans are right now. And Houston, I'm right there with you. I know exactly. It wasn't that long ago. It was just 2-3 years ago. Cincinnati was in the same boat you are. So I know, trust me. And look where this team was, guys, just 2 years ago. Think about that. Think about how good Joe Burrow is to come back from an ACL injury, because last year was really his first year, if you really want to think about it. Because his first year, he's out with the ACL injury. And he comes back and brings a team that hadn't won a playoff game in 30-plus years, 31 years to be exact. And he takes them to a Super Bowl. Not only does he win them a playoff game, he takes them to a Super Bowl for the first time in over 3 decades. And we're going to ridicule the guy because he has 2 bad games. He had 2 bad games. The first game of the year and the game against Cleveland. Outside of that, what has he done that was really so bad? That's why some Bengals fans, I'm disappointed in them, because there's some Bengals fans you just can't please. I mean, come on. You really want to go back to before Joe Burrow? You want to go back to Andy Dalton? And wish Andy Dalton the best of luck. You want to go back to Carson Palmer was probably the closest one we had before he got his knee blown out. That was probably going to be anything close to Joe Burrow. John Kitna. Achilles Smith. Jeff Blake, although he did do good. Gus Frerotte. And that ain't even counting freaking shitty backups we've had over the years. Oh my God. Freaking Ryan Fitzpatrick at one point before he was Fitzmagic. Back when he played for Cincinnati, nobody knew who the hell he was. JT O'Sullivan. I mean, come on. I know what pain is, bottom line, as a Bengals fan. God, man. But I'm proud of the Bengals. I really am. Regardless how the season ends, I'm proud of them and where they go from here. But basically, this video was just about an update, how I feel about their season. And it called the fair weather fans out because everybody was freaking dogging this team when they started 0-2. I said, just wait. Just wait. I'm telling you, don't panic. And I didn't jump off the bandwagon. I said, hey, if they have a mediocre year, they have a mediocre year. It happens. I wasn't going to accept that. I was all right with it. But ever since they started 0-2, they've gone 9-2. Think about that. Just goes to show you, any team can get hot at any time. Did anybody think the Eagles are going to be 12-1 right now? I sure didn't. So anyway, stick to your team, and let's hope for a good rest of the year. Go Bengals, and we'll see you guys soon.